latest issue that's come up about 3 weeks ago is the Army downsizing in Oahu issue. Did you want me to elaborate on that?
Yeah, because I read in the paper that the military, this was about a month ago, that the military was looking at downsizing worldwide, and everybody was thinking, oh, that's bad, that's money we're going to lose. And I was thinking, well, I thought we were all trying to become more enlightened human beings to where we didn't have war on our planet. Isn't downsizing the military a better thing?
Absolutely. In fact, Congress is mandating it through the Quadrennial Defense Review for 2014. Your listeners need to really pay attention to this issue. It's a once-in-a-century opportunity. 19 states on this QDR 2014 were identified to absorb the losses of the Army of 130,000 troops. The Army's been ordered to downsize from 550 to as low as 420,000. And guess what, Jeff? Hawaii is on that list. Hawaii is one of the 19 states. All these 19 states are going to fight to keep these troops here, or in their state, and with their constituencies, because it's pork. It's pork that comes into the state. In the case of Hawaii, 16,000 are earmarked from Schofield and 3,800 from Shafter. They're the potential to leave the island permanently. And I'm establishing a coalition called the Oahu Council for Army Downsizing. And what I'm trying to support is, let's support DOD's request to downsize the division and the support troops. Move all of the troops, remaining troops, which is only a couple thousand, to Fort Shafter, and free up Schofield and Wheeler Air Force Base, or Wheeler Army Airfield now, to the state of Hawaii.
Right, now isn't that sacrilegious, Nico? He just came after your Air Force, which you were in for 27 years.
The Navy.
Oh, you were in the Navy?
Yes.
But here's the point. It takes quite a bit of nerve from my point of view to try and educate on a topic that has been considered sacrosanct, meaning federal dollars coming. That's Inouye's legacy, for Christ's sake. Bless his heart, a war veteran or war hero, Purple Hearts abounding. But what's his legacy is that he got a bunch of pork coming from Washington into Hawaii, for specifically a lot of it military.
Right. I'm Army, and I understand why forces are placed in the positions they are, how force structuring is done. I've taught this at the Army War College. I've written a paper on it. So I can justify the Air Force and the Marines and the Navy being here. They are strategically deployed.
Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, Master of Science in Business Administration. You have a master's. He's taught at graduate and undergraduate levels at UH and the Army War College. Okay, teach me. Why is it not going to hinder our security if we... What you just suggested, if I'm not mistaken, was empty Schofield and Wheeler up there in Wahiawa, bring whatever troops need to be stationed somewhere, shut down the airport.
Right, right.
Okay, so now a civilian like myself might think, well, how are we going to defend a free world if we don't have all that?
Okay, well, we're going to defend it with strategic forces that can respond to crises around the world. The Navy here can do that, the Marines are prepared to do that, as well as the Air Force. But the Army is not prepared. They cannot get off this island. There are no roll-on, roll-off ships, cargo ships available. They have to wait for ships to be put on contract from the West Coast, slip over here, pick them up, and then deploy wherever the harm's way is. And oh, by the way, they cannot enter a hostile environment. They got to enter a benign environment, which even makes it harder. So their response time, as opposed to the Marines deploying to a hot spot, is zero. They're going to be too late for the fight. And oh, by the way, one last point, there's no airlift here for them. Virtually all the Air Force C-17s are located on the mainland.
Are you telling me that the basic reason the Army's here, besides to bring support to Hawaii, is so that they can use Makua, Paakaloa, and Schofield as live fire training?
Well, the main reason they're here is it's a legacy from World War II, where there was about half as many forces there are now. So that's a legacy problem. But then the illustrious Mr. Senator Inouye, as a way to bring in money and gather votes from his constituents, was to increase the size of the Army and put forces there at Schofield and Wheeler Army Airfield that don't belong.
They're not, from your point of view, having any strategic value being up there at Wheeler Schofield?
Only in a regard that a small contingency force of a couple hundred could be deployed in a relatively rapid manner, but we don't want 16,000 soldiers up there just to be able to deploy a couple hundred soldiers in a task force.
Well, okay.
And that, well, by the way, that's a Marine mission. They're ready. They can do that right now. There's no reason why we have two services trying to do the same thing.
What did the Army say when I presume you brought this up to them?
It came up in a meeting we had a couple of years ago with the United States Army Pacific Commander present, and he scoffed at the idea. And he didn't understand the way he used his rank and experience to justify why the Army in the Pacific should be in Hawaii. It was just to shut the audience down.
Well, no, I mean, he's a shield, I mean, that's his job.
Well, he has to support the strategy. The strategy, the Army doesn't decide where it wants to go. It does make recommendations, but congressmen and senators decide where the services go. It's where does the money go, where does this
All right,
equipment get
talking
built,
again with Al Frenzel, he's running for the House of Rep for District 41 Makaha. His two opponents had more important things to do than to talk to you folks out there and get the message out.
I'd love to have Mr. Cedric, who's only 20 years old, never held a full-time job, and never had a formal education past high school, speak on this issue. I'd love to hear his opinion, but
Well, I'd love to hear what Ms. Jo Jordan would have to say as well, but apparently she's got more important things to do.
On this critical issue of the downsizing on Oahu, it is a once-in-a-century opportunity. If we're able to convince the people of Oahu and their politicians to support the downsizing instead of the status quo, which is the fight to keep them here, but if we're able to support the downsizing, we gain $200 billion worth of assets up in Schofield.
We're talking property.
Property, housing. Right now,
Not just that, but if they were gone, wouldn't Makua then quit being a target practice?
Makua would be obsolete. It's obsolete now. It's a lousy range, which doesn't meet the requirements.
Okay, so you're, Nico,
Yes.
common sense, look at it. What's the problem? One of our biggest problems, we don't have enough land space in Hawaii for whatnot, okay?
Sure.
Especially on Oahu. And here we have an army which has, it's not good for the environment to do live fire, and et cetera, but they're taking up enormous amounts of land space. They want to downsize themselves, and your idea, Mr. Frenzel, was to move everybody off, anybody who needed to stay was
There's
down at Shafter.
about 1,900 people left at Schofield, and Shafter's losing 3,800. You do the math, it's easy. They can consolidate all their operations on Shafter. They free up those two facilities near Wahiawa, and they currently house 39,000 family members. Could you imagine what that would do for the needy?
I thought you said there was only 19,000.
Well, yeah, but that's counting their family members. So there's 39,000 soldiers and their wives, spouses, and children. So that's an equivalent of, think how many people off the DHH.
Right, one soldier goes home, that's equal to 2.5 more people
Exactly.
probably.
There's some single soldiers in that equation, but they're also in single billets. There's 7,000 single billet spaces.
All
out
right,
there.
our veteran, Mr. Nico,
Yes.
what do you think about that idea?
Well, I do think that Hawaii tries to solicit more and more military people to come in, more and more programs, more and more, because it helps the economy.
Yeah, well, it's also a big target, by the way. Did you know that? There's a bullseye on Hawaii. If North Korea or anybody else wanted to make a statement, just like the Japanese made in
Just like
World War
Japanese
II.
did, that's correct.
Tora. And what do you think about that? Do
Well,
people realize that we are the most militarized square footage? Nico,
We are.
did you know that in the world? Hawaii is the most militarized place in the world per square foot.
I did not know.
How about that?
Imagine North Korea wanting to make a show of force. They can reach here. They can't reach the West Coast. They have no reason to reach anywhere, but they can reach
People don't
here.
realize that. I really don't believe that people in Hawaii, because that's like, you don't want to talk about that in the press, right? Oh, by the way, it's it's Father's Day, it's Mother's Day, it's remember we're the #1 to get bombed day.
This is where the target is. Yeah, that's right. We got the bullseye.
I don't want to remember that either. We'll talk about that. All right, so downsize the military, I'm for it.
What the conventional wisdom, what I'm afraid of is, and I've talked to some of the hierarchy, and their conventional wisdom is that they can't be flexible enough to understand the goodness of letting these troops go. But I submit that 19 states are going to be vying for not being on the cut list, and our junior congressmen and junior senators aren't going to have the clout that they did. So if we just accepted that fact, we accept the goodness of downsizing, we could be first in line to go to DOD, the Congress, and the President, especially while he's still in office, and say, we want a financial transition plan to get us over the 10 years or so that we experience with the downsizing effect, and that'll help us with the economic bubble that the alternative.
What about the people in your district? When, Nico, you were asking me a question and I said how naive, so let's have Al explain it. If you're running for District 41, only those people in District 41 are allowed to vote for you.
44.
44?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
The question is, if you're running for a specific district, Nico wanted to know this, so why don't you explain it
This is
to
my
Nico?
question, go ahead.
Yeah, only the people in that district are allowed to vote for these.
Yeah, they are, but this issue is beyond my campaign.
Oh, I'm loving this
Yeah.
as governor statewide.
Right, I didn't, and no one was aware of these cuts until about 4 weeks ago. And these came in a public request for comments very quietly in the middle of the night to people. And I think a lot of people didn't even look at the announcement.
Isn't it the same story, Al? Again, talking with Al Frenzel, and he's running for District 44 House of Reps. His two opponents didn't bother showing up today. They'll be filming this, and you'll find it at voteforal.com, number 4.
Actually, alfrenzel.com, I'm sorry, Jeff.
Vote for Al Frenzel.
No, alfrenzel.com.
And he brought in these signs, and we've got them pasted on the chairs here. Mr. Cedric Gates and Ms. Joe Jordan. His two opponents. Joe Jordan is an incumbent.
They can call in now. They can call in if they want to.
Well,
Participate.
you know what? Why? He drove in. He's here from District 44. They're missing in action.
They are definitely missing.
And I've got a huge bone to pick with candidates who do not show up to debates and forums, just to shut down discourse and to shut down the knowledge of what their platforms are, and maybe they can get by with sign waving and name recognition and a big campaign chest.